Oh, did you record it or something? Okay. Okay, let's call this to order. Sorry, again, sorry for the delay. 6:33, and we could do a roll call.
Kathy McCarthy.
Here.
Chris Nettles.
Here.
Darlene Warner. I'm here. Mel McMurrin. Jake Strickler. Here. And Joe Schneider. Absent. All right, we've got everyone here except for one. We do have one.
All right, let's stand for the pledge. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any short announcements? And we've got a great microphone at the back of the room. Oh, the agenda minutes. Sorry. I'm just always anxious to dive in.
I know.
It looks like we froze on
We froze on the pledge. Oh, and so we did. It's connecting, reconnecting.
Budget.
You jinxed us. Connecting. Oh, it is it's searching for the Wi-Fi.
You want to hook up to my hotspot? Or to find one?
Oh, it found Paul Duncan's iPhone.
There you go. Is it connected to Paul Duncan's iPhone?
Thanks. We're gonna run this meeting off of Paul Duncan's. Out of everybody's iPhone, I would expect yours has the most, You could take this moment to peruse the minutes if you haven't looked at them yet.
Yeah.
Done your homework.
Amendment to the minutes, and that amendment is, I was absent last time.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I did get that and have noted it.
I'll move it a little bit
I'm
closer.
on the Wi-Fi. Mr. Chief Duncan, I would require a password. It looks like we're on, but it doesn't look like we're on. I'm so confused.
And we're back.
Okay, sorry for that delay, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. So I think we're okay. No, we look like we're frozen again. I mean, I don't look frozen. Michael, can you hear us? No, we're almost live. We're good. Okay. So a little delay. We didn't do anything while you were gone on Zoom land. We were looking at the minutes and just reading them. And
We have one amendment that the secretary is aware of. I'm listed as present on October 19th, and I was in fact absent.
I have that noted. That will be an amendment to the minutes.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes,
As
the
amended.
amended minutes. Seconded by Elliot, I think. He won. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have a minute. Okay, and now our proposed draft agenda. One change, Supervisor Paiska is at a conference out of town, and she thought she might be back, but as you can see, she is not. So she won't be here today.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an agenda. And now we'll have short announcements using this fabulous microphone at the back.
Hi there. I should use this. There's an event coming up December 9th here. It's Breakfast with Santa. It's really a great event. It supports the PTO for Cobb Elementary, and you really need to come. It's just fantastic. And tentatively, January 20th, we're going to have an event outside with a fire and a lot of singing, a cappella style. So keep those in mind, but definitely come to the Breakfast with Santa. It's really great. Thank you.
What time is it?
Starts at 9 o'clock.
What day?
The night.
The 9th.
December 9th, 9 o'clock.
Should be a Saturday.
Come meet the man. It was a very nice one, I've heard. Any other short announcements? Okay. Is there any public or board comment on a non-agenda item? It doesn't look like it, so we shall move on to striking the supervisor's comments. Now we're on to our fire season update with Paul Duncan. And, oh, thanks.
All right, good evening. We have reduced our staffing levels down. So currently we are staffed 1 engine per station, so that's come down. The copter is not staffed daily, but they may be out flying around, so you may see them buzzing around. The state excavator's working in Boggs Forest. You may see that up there, so they're doing a lot of road work. We're also trying to get around some of the communities up in Gifford Springs with that piece of equipment. So doing some cleanup inside the forest to really clean up some of the debris that's hanging out there. So if you see them running, please stay back about 300 feet. We did a pretty large burn over the last couple weeks. We did one on Bottle Rock Road, about 13 acres. We did one in Lower Lake for 53 acres. And then we did one in Loch Lomond for about 3 acres. So real positive burns. Everything went very well. Thanks to all the folks that attended. So very good to see some fire getting back on the ground in the Cobb area.
Good fire.
What's that?
Sorry to interrupt. Good fire.
Good fire, yes. The natives call the fire medicine. So they use medicine on the ground. It cleans up all the underbrush and really treats the area. So that was a huge component up here. It was really nice to have TERRA, which is the Tribal Eco Restoration Alliance, really involved with that and had some great history, some basket making materials that they pointed out were planted in the valley. So Cobb Mountain is really kind of the hub for about 6 tribes. So really cool to have that history and that background. So those burns went very well. The air curtain burners relocated, so that is now done on 175 just north of the settling ponds. So you'll see that on the east side of the roadway. The candy cane run will be in Cobb, Loch Lomond area on December 8th. So look for us, depending on weather. So if it rains, we'll postpone, but that was planned for the 8th. And that's about it for me, unless anyone has questions. Elliot.
Any sense of when the curtain burner will be available?
We got to get fencing around it. So the question was, when is the air curtain burner going to be up and running? And that will be probably after the first of the year. We have some fencing to put up and set up that piece of property where it's at. It's county owned, so we have a little more flexibility, a little more space. Anderson Springs was one of the target areas to really get fuels out of. So.
Will you be receiving, will you be able to bring over?
Yes, the intent is no cost. So that is why that machine was put down in that specific county-owned area, and we'll use fire district equipment to feed it. The machine doesn't make biochar is the problem. So it gets about 2,200 degrees in there. It's white hot inside. And what is left is just almost like fly ash. It's really fine, powdery. We can't stop the combustion without putting some kind of water in the machine, which there's about 8 inches of concrete wall around it, and that causes that to spall. So we just got to let it cool down, and that means it consumes whatever's in there. But the county is looking on the risk reduction. Jessica's not here to speak on it, so I'll steal some of her thunder. The Risk Reduction Authority is a county organization that looks for ways of reducing risk throughout the county. And one of the things they are looking at is bringing in a woody biomass disposal process, which will produce biochar. So that's one of the things. With the 20,000 dead trees in the county right-of-ways, that is a project they're looking at to just to take care of that woody biomass locally instead of sending it out. Yes, sir.
So I see that you've got a masticator working on C.A.C. Canyon Road, right next to our property, and we didn't get notified in any way?
If you were a property owner that machine's working on, you would have got notification from the county RCD, the Resource Conservation District. And the county right-of-way is a certain distance off the roadway, so they should be just working in the right-of-way.
Oh, yes, they are.
Unless they're in private property.
Wonderful work.
Yes, so that was, thank you, Duncan, I didn't point that out. Our district-owned, grant-funded masticator for improving egress routes out of communities is that piece of equipment, and it's working the Seaguar Springs corridor. Not a lot sectioned, it's probably 1.5 miles long that they're working, so it's not a huge area, but the county did some already on the lower part of that. This is just getting some that they did not. So that was, they should be done tomorrow, so.
Can I get myself put in there as the person of contact in the future?
If we're doing it again?
Yeah.
I would say yeah, but I don't know if they're going to be operating in that area anymore. I think this is kind of a one and done for that area. So now the other access corridors and egresses, there should be notification to property owners if they're making access onto those properties. So only if they're operating on that property do we get the property owner permission. If it's within the county right-of-way, then it falls under the county of Lake, and we use their right-of-way access to do the clearing on.
So with the right of way, the permissions are not required for the notification?
Correct.
All right, that's what.
Yeah, as long as they're staying in that right-of-way, it's considered maintenance of the roadway, so it's not doesn't have to be noticed. But if they're operating on private property, which we've done, so go further back and clear, then that needs a right-of-way exemption or a RM 175 form for us. Yes, Mel?
Things like that, or burns announced somewhere, because I did hear from Magdalena about that particular one. I don't know where you got it from, but is there a central place?
Where we notify?
Yeah.
We're working on that with the Fire Safe Council, because we have the Community Wildfire Preparedness Plan, the CWPP, had an appendix on it that has all the projects throughout the county, and we're trying with the Fire Safe Council to list who's working where on what project, because there's probably 26 pages of work projects there. What crew, what piece of machinery, and what organization is working that area, and we're working on that spreadsheet to be available. You can go to the clerk website, and they have that all in GIS on those projects. So you can see the highlights within the county, click on it, and it shows you what the status of that section of roadway or work area they're doing.
Okay, because I think Watch Duty has things, and we've been trying to put stuff out on the radio.
That's control burning.
Or control burns.
Yeah, we don't,
any
and
of that.
we're not going to get that much more this winter.
Exactly.
Because once the burn ban is lifted and we can burn the bigger projects like that, we're not gonna, it would be broadcast burning that we would list there, not pile burning. You'd be buried.
Every
The
day.
amount of private residential burn permits that we cut is a lot, probably 1,500 in the county. And so those can burn on any particular day to reduce hazards.
Right.
So those aren't publicized.
Thanks.
Yes, sir, Robert.
Our burn permits, are those calendar or are those during season?
Those are burn season. So your burn permit that you have gotten on the online web portal is good all the way through. Usually May 1st is when those end, and there's your year by year. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Duncan. We always appreciate you being here. Okay. Our next item is a discussion that's been months in the making, if not years, right after the treasurer's report. I'm so excited.
That's been months in the making, too.
I know, right?
Right?
There's that.
Madam Secretary.
Thank you,
for
Mr.
your
Treasurer.
Minutes. So I haven't given, so there was no treasurer's report for October. So we'll be, and for anybody who wants a copy of the treasurer's report, feel free to come up here and grab one at your convenience. You're always, these are public documents. It'll be on the website as well. But in September, at the September meeting, our operating budget balance was $700.41. And since then, we've had transactions in our general fund. We continue to have some activity in our Blackberry Cobbler Festival Fund. And we've also gotten some donations to the Sculpture Jam. C.A.C. acts as the fiscal sponsor for that Culture Jam that Glenneth has put together. So what I'm going to do is read you the current account balances for our various accounts that we maintain in our operating budget. The general fund has $9,179.03 in it. The Blackberry Cobbler Festival right now has $18,785.15. The Emergency Preparedness Fund, which is a restricted fund that we can use for any emergency preparedness activities that we want to do in the community, has $2,417. And then that Sculpture Jam account has $1,500 for them to use to reimburse for whatever they need to around that particular event. So right now we've ended this last period as of today. Our operating budget balance is $31,881.80. Supposedly lots of eights are good luck, so I like that. We have that small business loan fund that was originally from the San Francisco Home Loan Bank grant. That continues to sit at $48,082.63. So that brings us to a total net assets of $79,964.43. And that means we increased since the last time I gave a report of a little over $2,100, close to $2,200. In short, we're in the black.
Great. I'm going to leave that angle at you.
Oh dear.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if anybody
Get
wants to
the
look at me.
microphone out of the way. Because now, the long-awaited topic.
Again, feel free to grab a treasurer's report if you want.
Okay. The next item is to discuss / approve the RFP for Explore Cobb webpage and our social media management based on the recommendations of our Economic Development Committee. And there was questions about what the folks had proposed would be included in taking care of the web page and the social media. And I didn't have those answers last time.
So let's back up for just a second. The social media function that we've been trying to get done was referred to the Economic Development Committee to obtain proposals, to review the proposals, and then make a recommendation. And the two proposals that we got were essentially equivalent. They had some, one might have had a couple of strengths that the other one didn't, but for all intents and purposes, there was not much separating the two proposals other than the cost. I mean, they both made similar recommendations as to the number of posts per month, maintaining both our Facebook page and the Explore Cobb C.A. Material that's on that particular website. One came in at about, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it was about $100 and something an hour to do, and the other one came in at $35 an hour. The difference in scores between the two proposals represent that specific difference. Therefore, the Economic Development Committee recommends the lower cost proposal, which is Sally Waltrolick. Yes. So, as chair of the Economic Development Committee, I make a motion that the Cobb Area Council accept that particular proposal. Do we have a second? Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you check references?
Yes. Actually, one of Sally's strengths that that Abby didn't have was it came with recommendations. One of the recommendations, in fact, was a lovely recommendation written by Susan over at Mandala Springs that was quite glowing. And then I think from the minutes that I saw last month, Glenneth also recommended Sally during that particular meeting. So we have two recommendations. Of course, the Economic Development Committee didn't consider Glenneth's recommendation, but in fact, he did make that recommendation at the last meeting. Thank you for the question. We're getting questions from the Cobb Alert Net.
Cobb Alert Net.
We are. Doug's
been trying to get a radio check for a while.
That's it. It is.
Yeah, right before out the door, he was trying to do a radio check. Anyhow, do you put a motion on?
He made a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, we need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Does this include any kind of maintenance for the Cobb Area Council website?
We talked about that as a possibility. It wasn't included in the RFP nor in the in the response proposal, but she is open to it. We probably have to add in a little bit of additional money on the contract in order to do it. But I guess I don't know if the council would like us to come back with a proposal, if that's the case, or whether we have the authority to negotiate that in the contract.
Well, I would like,
You want to?
or I can speak really loud.
Right. Here, why don't we?
And just say that I would like to recommend that we also add to that contract a reasonable amount to maintain the Cobb Area Council website.
I accept your friendly amendment to my proposal, or to my motion.
No.
You can project.
Question? Oh, I have a comment. It's too late now. Okay, so the question has been called. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, keep your hands up. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Are there any opposed? I see nary a hand in the house and no one online. Nary a hand. It is approved. So we have someone to manage the social media,
Yay.
our website, and
I will
Dr.
let
Rupp.
Sally know first thing tomorrow, because she will be very excited.
Great. Thank you, Sally.
Excellent.
And just a nod, I would like to say thank you to Abby for laying down a groundwork and establishing some connections previously with the Explore Cobb Facebook page. No,
Abby
thank
did
you.
a
She
fantastic job
really
with
did.
that, yeah. So it was a great proposal, so.
Good.
I have a comment for you guys. So just so you know, all of these recordings that we're doing, you can always rip these off of YouTube and put them on your website
Right.
and links in your Facebook page.
Okay, Sally, write that down. Okay.
Thank you for that info.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
It's our audio visual, Thomas DeWalt. Thank you. Okay, amazingly enough, we're on to committee reports. We could start with Fireways committees. It's that time of year.
That time of year. So the Firewise communities, there's 6 of them in the Cobb area. I happen to be the regional community coordinator. We're going to be having a quarterly coordinators meeting in December, so I'll have more to report then. But in the meantime, we have one of the Firewise communities has actually received their renewal, which is Firewise Community Group 2. And then the others are in process. And one of the things that happened is that the National Fire Protection Association upgraded its website, which caused havoc for a whole bunch of Firewise reports, renewals. So they have now extended the deadline from tomorrow, November 17th to December 15th. So while they're fixing all the glitches. So like one example was I was able to upload everything except my name and my address. I don't know why it kept rejecting it, but that's one of the crazy things that was happening, and I did everything. So we're waiting for Cobb View is also in process. Cobb View, Ziegler Springs, as I said. Loch Lomond. I think Loch Lomond got through. Who am I missing? Jones Creek. So you guys are in process. Yes.
Scrambling for recording sheets.
The communities that are in process, do they need more hours?
I know that Cobb View Wendy told me that they're having trouble getting people to send their recording sheets in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where do they, depending on which group they're in, where do they send those in? I had someone ask me that as far as getting like acknowledgement that they sent their paperwork in and where to turn
Okay.
that in.
Do you know what her group is?
I don't know what their group is.
Okay, so you can have people, if people are really confused, because my number is, since I'm the coordinator, you can just send it to me and I'll figure out who it is.
Okay.
But I'll need to know their address
Yes.
because I won't know which group to send them to.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that information to you.
Okay, but there is a list, if you go to firesafelake.org, there is a short list of the Firewise communities. They need to update their website as well, so they're not complete. If you think that you're in a Firewise community and you don't see it listed on firesafelake.org, then please send it to me. Magdalena Valderrama, I'll spell both names, Magdalena. Valderrama is V as in Victor, A-L, D as in David, E-R-R, A as in M as in Mother, A. And the email address is magdalenavh@sscra.org. I'll spell that. Magdalena, V as in Victor, H, at S as in Ziegler, S as in Springs, C as in Community, R as in Redevelopment, and A as in Association, sscra.org. So I head up the Ziegler Springs Firewise community, and also the Ziegler Springs. I'm program director for Cedar Springs Community Redevelopment Association. I'll just say that, I'll add that David Dolezal is the new Firewise ranger, the ranger from the Bureau of Land Management, who has now offered his services to the Firewise communities to conduct community risk assessments. So I know that next year, 4 of our Firewise communities in the Cobb area are due for their brand new next 5-year community risk assessment. And then pay attention to how current your action plan is as well. Because CAL FIRE has made an agreement with Firewise USA that all California Firewise communities have to renew their action plan every 3 years, not 5 years, the way the rest of the country has to. Oh, and then Gordon Springs, they did pretty good too, they got through. They were early, actually. That's Lori Lincoln.
Good job, Lori.
Yay. I think that's it. Any questions? Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Magdalena. All right, Communications Committee, Darlene.
Darlene looks like Mel tonight.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Mel.
Well, a reminder, especially to those people in Cobb View or who might need hours or haven't reported, you can report your Cobb AlertNet volunteer hours. So anybody who's been checking in every week, that's at least 15 minutes, if not a half hour or an hour for some of the group leaders. Report all those hours. That's 52 hours potentially from one person. So it's a lot of volunteer hours. And if you've already done it or your neighborhood doesn't need it, remember that for next year, because it makes a difference and your insurance will be happy, as we all know, maybe switching insurance and seeing that go up. So we have a coordinating committee meeting, or communications committee meeting will be this Friday. Everybody's tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Everybody's welcome, and I want to put out a call because we're going to need probably some new members. Our members have been either radio nerds or radio nerds in training, and we're realizing our network is, the regulars really like radio. So I'd like to put a call out to the members at large, of which there's 270, or even people who don't have radios yet, who are just interested or have skills of any kind, organizing. We use Google Docs. Skills of all kinds, and just interest is really needed. As we've cycled through a good crop of folks who I think came about because of the Cobbler Festival, and we need a little more new blood, I think. We're gonna have four positions open, but people are always welcome to drop in, so just drop in and listen and see if it's interesting. The URL, you can get it from me, but bit.ly/commsmeet.nov 2023. Nov as in November, N-O-V. Commsmeet NOV 2023 will get you to register. It'll be an online meeting. A wonderful article appeared in fireadaptednetwork.org, thanks to Magdalena, all about Cobb AlertNet. So again, Fire Adapted Networks, is it plural? No, it's fireadaptednetwork.org. So can met fan. So there's an article on Cobb AlertNet. Read. What's that? It's national. Oh, okay.
Well, good thing you guys worked that out, the back and forth on that, so, yeah.
Yes. I was in Australia and missed the first rendition, but we got it all settled. So please leave a comment or a question. Yeah, it needs comments.
Okay.
So go there. And we are kind of into our winter numbers, but we want to change that. So we're in the 15 to 30 range of our regular members checking in. Again, those are the people who usually check in. So if you have a radio and it's dusty, turn it on, even though it's winter. This is the fun time to test things. And this winter we will have some simulations and prizes and fun things to keep the membership knowing their radios work. If you don't know what Cobb AlertNet is, which is the primary activity of the Communications Committee, visit cobbalert.net, and you can always email cobbalertnet@gmail.com for questions. And I think that covers it. Oh, and yeah, we have been announcing burns and traffic things that we know of. So if you know of something, or if you've got a question about why is there smoke over the hill, check your radio maybe first before you call. We might have the info. Or share the info if you know what it is.
And very useful during winter storms.
That's right. When the tree's down,
Power's out.
we're active. So it's not just fire. Or when Magdalena is stuck at the bottom of
It's like at the bottom of Adams Springs.
Adams Springs in the snow.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mel. Forest Health Committee would be Elliot. He's making, question?
Well, I wanted to make a comment on
Sure. Do you want to use the microphone, or do you want to speak loudly?
Hi, Duncan Gamlin. I'm the new fire marshal for Mountain of Tension Sanctuary, and had one of the crew that was fighting the Valley Fire. When he found out that I was assuming these responsibilities, he came up to me and said something very simple. He said, if we had better communication, we would have saved more structures. So I immediately contacted Mel and getting to work with him, making that happen. But I just thought I'd share that.
Thank you. Yeah. There's literal advantages and there's emotional advantages to having, knowing on our red flag nights, we put out alerts all as well. And that makes a difference too. So looking forward to having you in our network and building your network.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Elliot.
Hi. For the Forest Stewardship Committee or the Forest Health Committee, just a reminder, we meet the last Friday of every month. We're now, since we've closed down the hub, we're now meeting at the Loch Lomond Fire Station. Thanks to Chief Duncan for opening that up. Nice community space, good meeting space, where we basically review and consider the state of the forest altogether in Cobb. Following last month's approval by the Cobb Area Council, SSCRA did submit this 20-page grant application for a Cobb Mountain Community Wildfire Protection Plan. We should hear about that now. We're hearing in February, at which point the Forest Committee will be kicking into much higher gear. We had a good organizing meeting about that last month. Got a crew of folks who are agreed, ready to do. We're going to do a bunch of talk about your service hours. The plan is once a month, Saturday afternoon, we'll have a bunch of trained volunteers going out with tablets, going out to evaluate critical areas of the Cobb Mountain area forest. So once we get announcement of that grant, we will, of course, let everybody know. I just want to let folks know, I attended a fabulous day today. Again, thanks to Chief Duncan and Boggs Mountain Forest. They had a meeting of one of the CAL FIRE research committees to review all the research that's been done up on Cobb since the fire. And it was fascinating. I mean, recognize they now have 9 years of data that they've been tracking. Since that, a couple of the people literally sprang, once the fire happened, they realized they had this fantastic opportunity. So they sprang into motion, set up all these monitoring stations. So they've been monitoring sediment runoff. They've been monitoring just the regrowth, how things are regrowing. They've got experimental plots where they did different kinds of treatments in different areas to see what would come back better. So there's a tremendous amount of data. It was a big geek out session on very, very, very technical kind of measuring what happens when you
clear the forest in a certain way as opposed to another way, and how that, it was great opportunity to make a connection. You know, we have that connection obviously through Friends of Bogs as well, but we raised the issue of something that's become active here in Lake County altogether, which is known as citizen science, where particularly this is something that's been happening down at the lake, where you have people who live down there, properly trained and properly equipped to monitor the harmful algal blooms, so they can you need to have people down there actually taking data points. So we're looking for an opportunity to put together another grant. So if you'd be interested in actually getting out into the forest, learning more about the forest, and actually being able to gather useful data for the CAL FIRE scientists, this is something that we're going to be thinking about in the Forest Health Committee. A little update on the watershed education and restoration program that SSCRA is running around the creeks, running through Cobb. We will be having a public forum on December 18th in the evening. It'll be like 5 to 7, basically to review our first year's operation of what we've been doing basically building partnerships between the local Pomo tribes and local landowners whose property contains creeks in it, to help restore those creeks. We're hoping that if you or people that you know have properties where there's creeks running through the property, we'd love to introduce them to the program. We're expecting to get a second round of funding to continue this in the next couple of years. So again, Mandala, December 18th, 5 to 7. Thank you very much. Any questions? I'm happy to. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good.
I have a gate that goes out to the Boggs Mountain Forest. My backyard is the whole forest, and some of the trees are just worn out, and they are small and they could be cut. So I want to know who can help me.
Who could help you cut the trees in the forest?
Yeah, I want them to take a look.
Well, I would talk to Richie. Richie Booker, who's he was here last week. He's basically the sole CAL FIRE staff there right now. He's the assistant forester too, but he's very knowledgeable about everything going on in the forest, and he'd be the person to kind of steer you to who would be the right person to talk to about that. No?
Yeah, I'm curious if they talked about the Mahala mat, because I've seen that experiment up there.
The what?
Mahala mat, I think it's called, or squatheanosis, or it has different names. It's
Yes.
the flat ceanothus, because
We did talk about it. Someone said, "Oh, the ceanothus." I said, "That's not ceanothus." I said, "Yes, it is.
It's flat.
It's a different kind of species. It's all over the place there, and also called juniper ceanothus. They did talk about it and talked about the conditions under which that was propagating most effectively. And I said, "Oh, that's a cool ground cover." The other thing that they did, by the way, they had someone there who was actually doing a bird census. They've got these automatic recorders that they posted, again, in strategic places, depending on how they were treating the land, recover weather. They had like their control plots where they didn't do nothing. It just kind of stands of snags. Some places had been logged, some had been logged with certain kinds of cultivation. And there were these bird recording devices throughout the forest. And they distributed a list of, must have been 75 different species of birds that they were able to identify from the recordings. It amazed me that there are people who are talented enough to be able to listen to these recordings and be able to tell what species it was and whether it was a call or a song, including things like wing beats and the different kinds of sounds that the woodpeckers made. There's 7 different kinds of woodpeckers that they were able to identify from these recordings up in the forest there. It was, it was cool.
That's great.
Anything else?
Thank you, Elliot. Economic Development Committee, Chris?
The Economic Development Committee has not met since we reviewed the proposals that we just discussed earlier, so there's nothing new to report.
I mean, you mentioned the update on the financials is that somebody still hasn't turned in a receipt or two
Oh, you mean for Cobbler
for
Festival?
the Cobbler Festival?
Yeah, that's next on the agenda, right?
Right,
Yeah,
that's next. You're on.
I'm on twice. So what I was going to say, yeah, we still haven't closed the books on the Blackberry Cobbler Festival, but we're about to at the end of this meeting. But what it looks like is that we started out with somewhere in the neighborhood, it was $14,500 in the Cobbler Festival fund, and then we ended after the Cobbler Festival with about $18,785. So we made about a little over $4,000, $4,200, somewhere in there, overall on the Blackberry Cobbler Festival, which is a 28%, almost 29% margin. So that's pretty good when you think about it. I mean, we everything that we invested, we made back plus some money, right? So we spent probably about $14,000, and I think we had 9 sponsors that donated about $10,000. So this is not a cheap event to put on, but we are consistently making a return on that. So that's something to be proud of as a community. Thank you, Blackberry Cobbler Festival Committee.
You're welcome. On behalf of the many hands that made the work a little bit lighter, you're welcome. It's fun. And see me if you're interested in volunteering for next year. Let's start talking.
I have a list of the sponsors. Do we need to get thank you notes?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so I'll provide that to you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next committee, the Calbite of the Year Committee. We announced at the last meeting that we'll have a little committee meeting on the 30th, which is Thursday at Cobb Mountain Pizza. I did not put a time. How does 6 o'clock sound? We'll all be there. And this is to discuss this year's nominees and November 30th. It doesn't have to be 6 o'clock. Don't you have a meeting that day? Okay. Because if you were previously a recipient, you're automatically on the committee this year. Sorry, that was loud. Yeah, he's on the committee too. Does that work for you, November 30th? Oh, just send me a text. Send me a text with your thoughts. Anyone could submit their thoughts, actually, if you think that there's someone in our community who should be acknowledged for their efforts, for what they've done for Cobb, not just this year, but maybe, lifetime. Let us know. Okay. All right, that's it for that committee. It's about that time of year where we need to talk about nominations and elections and appointments to the Cobb Area Council Board. I'm blanking on everything. When do we have that in January?
Yeah, terms start in January, technically. We may need a little bit of leeway in our reappointments, because I don't know that we have any nominations. If you look at the county website that lists all of our terms, it has the wrong information right now. It has all of our terms ending on 1/1/2025. This is incorrect. According to our bylaws, we have staggered terms. Jake and I were elected in November of 2022 to serve the 2023 and 2024 terms. So we should be good until the end of 2024. Kathy, Darlene, and Joe have terms that expire technically at the end of this year, on the 31st. And our alternate, Mel, right now, is also, that position is up for election annually, is how we've got it in our bylaws. So we need to be on the lookout for 4 nominees. Now, of course, if you're serving in it, if you're serving in the position and you want to renominate yourself, please do. But those are the 4 positions that are potentially competitive coming up.
Can we renominate now?
I don't know that we've given enough announcement or opportunity for people that may want to self-nominate or submit to do so. But if you are interested, you should probably contact, I guess, Cobb Area Council at gmail.com if you're interested in either submitting your nomination or finding out how to submit your nomination. You can email us there and we'll help you through that process. Because it is a nomination, election by this body, and then appointment by the Board of Supervisors. So essentially what this body does is recommend to the Lake County Board of Supervisors who you would like to see operating in these positions, and then they make the actual appointment. So there's a form for that.
Yeah, we've been a little bit cart before the horse a couple times. We get nominated and voted on, and then we do the paperwork.
And that's
But
okay.
that's fine, yeah.
No, that's actually the right order.
Yeah. Oh, well, then good.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
because we do your paperwork and then the county approves it.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So will it be on next month's agenda?
it should be on next month's agenda. So if you are interested in one of these positions, I would email cobbareacouncil@gmail.com sooner rather than later.
I just want to renominate Darlene and Mel and Kathy.
Thank you.
Oh, but not Chris.
Yeah. And if you are interested, I see your
Thank
comment.
you for that.
I just he made me think, if you're interested in serving, doesn't mean you have to jump in and be the chair. You'd be jumping in and being at the other end or whatever. There's room all over this table for everybody.
And there are, in fact, there are opportunities to be involved with committees as co-chairs. Right now, the Economic Development Committee does not have a co-chair. So there are other opportunities to help your community with this Cobb Area Council stuff that we do.
Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead, Robert.
I believe that as the board of directors of the various districts, there is a public notification requirement. So I would suggest you make
Yeah.
a flyer and post it now.
So that we can do.
And we will cover that requirement, whether you need it or not, I don't know. But I know for the board of directors of the water district, cemetery district, lighting district, fire district, there is a public notification.
Okay. We'll double check with what the county
Well,
requires.
regardless,
Yeah, we
it's
want
a-
to do that.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, I think it's an excellent suggestion,
Yeah.
whether it's required or not, we should do it
I
anyway.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Make a flyer.
Yeah. Is that a directive from the chair of the, make a flyer?
Make a flyer. It's an affirmation of Robert's comment.
And that includes the referendum also. Cobb Area Council seats and membership nominations.
Yeah.
Release to media,
The more transparent you are.
etc. I agree.
I agree, absolutely.
And we have a new media person too. Sally.
Sally, that's right. Yeah. As soon as I call her, and
We
she
give her all sorts of jobs. Sally could do that. And thank you.
Can we piggyback communications committee
What
on
about?
announcements too? Just
Oh, we could list committees that need
committees that need, okay,
membership. Yeah.
great.
What a great idea.
Good point.
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's all I have. Are there any other announcements for the good of the order? No?
There's an announcement about next meeting, right?
Yes, the announcement about next meeting is that there would be a brief agenda, which will, could include nominations and elections. We usually announce the Cobbite of the Year, and then a social hour to follow, right behind this wall, if the Lions Club is amenable. Thank you. Wear an ugly sweater. That's your challenge. Any other thoughts, comments? Oh, according to Robert's rules, I get to just announce it.
If there is
We're
no
adjourned,
further business.
7:28.
7:28.
Good job. Thank you for your phone. You got
Robert.
messengers.